All right, what's up, y'all? Ken here. I got Kevin, I got Kelvin, and I got D Jones. How y'all doing today?
Pretty
Good
good.
man, pretty
All right,
good.
man.
Good, good, good. We're gonna be talking about tag teams. We're gonna be talking about tag team entrances and some tag team finishers. So, all right. So, first question is, we're gonna just jump right into it. Who is y'all Mount Rushmore of tag teams? Who y'all Mount Rushmore?
So for me, I put down so I had a bunch of them, but the favorite for me was of course the Hardy in no order, but the Hardy Boys,
Yeah.
the Dudley Boys, and then of course Edge and Christian and Legion of Doom. My
Oh,
honorable mentions was Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero
oh.
and the Nasty Boys and the Harlem Heat.
Mm.
I did
So,
wanted to put Urban Shyster and Ted
yeah, that-
DiBiase, but I think they was more of a faction than
yeah, that's a faction. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Man, you
Yeah.
hard. You said the Harlem
yeah,
Heat. I was like,
Yeah,
man,
man. I wasn't expecting
yeah.
no
Yeah,
novel type of answer right there.
I instantly
yeah.
thought about Hulk Hogan. We coming for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say Hardy Boys. Hey, I like Triple H and Shawn Michaels too, man. They was cold, as a
There was a
duo, at
faction
least.
though.
I know, man.
Yeah, that was a
It,
faction.
wa- it was just something magical right there. Them dudes was cold.
So
Okay.
on
So
my
But
you
if
my
you
put
Mount
think
the
about
Rushmore,
it, Shawn Michaels and Triple H's, if you think about it, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they did have good chemistry in the ring.
yeah, they
Yeah,
definitely
they
So
did.
did.
I wouldn't discount them, discredit it as probably the best tag team.
Yeah,
okay. Well, Kevin.
It's kind of like saying Owen Hart and Bret Hart,
Yeah.
to but Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they were a nice tag team.
So who's the rest of your Mount Rushmore?
well, it's crazy because when I was thinking about, it, I was like, man, we had some dope ass tag
Hold on,
teams
wait,
back in the day.
Kevin. I think you muted yourself. Go ahead and speak.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You go ahead. You good? Yep.
Yeah, it was some dope. It was some real dope tag teams. But if I had to say my Mount Rushmore, I have to steal that Hardy Boys
Okay.
definitely is up there. You can't deny that. I'm gonna throw in the Uso Penitentiary Usos. I'm gonna
Okay.
throw
That's only
in
right.
Demolition.
Okay.
They was Demolition was some go getters. And then I have one more. And I know people gonna probably laugh at this here, but I think these guys was actually pretty dope and they had good chemistry. DIY.
Okay. At your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore because I'm looking at entertainment.
Okay.
I'm looking at matches, and when I looked at a lot of the older tag teams, they really didn't appeal to me. Like when I go back, like back in the days, like the Rockers and the Midnight Express and all that. And the only ones I thought that was super dope was the Four Horsemen, but they was a faction. Oh
Okay.
wait. Honorable mention: the
You
Fabulous
didn't like the
Freebirds.
Smoking Guns?
No,
Interesting. Wow.
The Fabulous Freebirds was dope though. They was the inventors of the Freebird rule.
Wait, so you didn't really like the Rockers, but the Freebirds?
Yes, I like the Freebirds. Bad was that Bad Street
Okay.
Okay.
USA?
I
Michael
mean,
P.S.
It's,
Hayes, what
it's
Buddy
quite
boy, it was good.
interesting right here.
Yeah, they actually they're the first guys to come out with some licensed music, Bad to the Bone.
Hmm.
interesting. Well, Kelvin, you ain't complete your Mount Rushmore. Who your Mount Rushmore?
Oh man, it's I can't say I have a complete list yet, man. It's so many to sort through, bro. It's just, mm, I don't know. We gotta circle back around for me on that one.
I think when I think about, so I actually made two lists. I made a list for WWF/WWE. So it's gonna be my list is going to be the Dudley Boys. That's one. It's going to be the Dudley Boys.
Mm-hmm.
My next list is going to be the Hardy Boys, of course. I like the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane. And I really like, for the entertainment piece, I like the Rock and Sock connection. That was funny.
Yeah, that was dope.
Oh, no.
Now,
Man, that list is kind of wow. Ken, like, really?
now, WCW,
The Brothers of Destruction and then the Rock and the Sock connection?
That was funny. That was
You
funny.
finna put in
It
New
was
Day on
funny,
that
but The
list,
Rock
too.
didn't really want to be around Mankind like
He
that,
didn't.
though.
He didn't, but he didn't. That's what, I don't know. It was goofy, but I also like, I would say my honorable mention as far as tag team that was goofy is Booker T and Goldust. That shit was funny.
That was pushing the limit.
You like the funny people. I see. Okay.
Yeah, I think kids looking at it from the entertainment point.
So, now,
Right. You like the tag teams that make you laugh. Okay.
Yeah. Now, WCW. I like the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. That was dope. When they
really
defected,
wasn't a tag team to me.
They wasn't, but they defected together. You gotta remember they did defect together. I don't know. They wasn't right. They wasn't a tag team, but for a brief moment. Trying to think who else. I like. This is way back, but I really enjoy Macho Man and Warrior when they was together. That was so crazy. Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior.
Man,
I disagree on that one. I did not like
that's yeah. They was only hilarious during promo time, but as far as like the wrestling, and I can't remember nothing definitive that they really did in the ring together.
I was gonna say that about the Destruction Brothers because it was like they were so limited, but I mean I get what you're saying though, but they was memorable. That's all that matters.
Right?
Like,
they were just coming. They were just coming to the ring, ready to choke slam everybody, and then
I mean, if anything, the APA was better.
I'll give you APA.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely give you APA.
I mean, it's so easy to fill up the Mount Rushmore with Edge and Christian, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, DX, NWO, Wolfpack. It's so easy to fill up the Mount Rushmore, but you got to think about those was the ones that were being pushed. There were way more funnier tag teams out there. Like,
but when you think about Ken, but Ken, I got to challenge that for a minute, but. That's why they the Mount Rushmore because they created, memorable matches.
Right.
They brought behinds and seats.
Yeah.
And everybody loved them. You know what I mean? I mean, like even when you look at the Dudley Boys, even if they didn't fought Edge and Christian, they will still come to the ring. They were heels. They was putting people through tables, and then when they went up against any tag team. They work like a well-oiled machine. You can say the same thing about Edge and Christian, their promos and, the 5-second poses, the egos. They can work the mic.
Great mic work.
You know what I mean?
Promos.
Right, but see,
Great mic work.
But that's why they Mount Rushmore, and they will forever be, held as probably the greatest tag teams of all time.
I agree, but just think about if WWE pushed other people. Do you remember the Power Trip? Stone Cold and Triple H when they was beating the hell
but
out
they
of
were
Lita.
they were solo acts.
Right, but
they were solo acts. That's why they didn't really click. I mean, Austin didn't really want to be with Hunter, and Hunter didn't really want to be. You know what I mean?
Nah,
it didn't work.
Austin always wanted to be by himself.
Yeah. I mean, right. The breaking Lita's neck. That was just kind of like. That's when Austin was just kind of like really on his way out the door.
So, I mean, then, when you really think about it, the Mount Rushmore are going to kind of be a rotation of the same people, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
It's going to be just a rotation of the same people because, I don't know. I think the Mount Rushmore, they need to build some more faces on it. 4 is kind of tough. So.
But see, the problem with wrestling, though, is who's going to be your standout people. Like, even when they brought like Motor City Machine Guns back to the WWE, I didn't really see the crowd move on them like that.
Nah,
And they gave them the tag team belts immediately.
But
we had knew about them already. It wasn't no excitement when they came back to the WWE. It was like, dude, what else can y'all do? We just send you guys wreck shop and TNA and be a great tag team over there. I personally thought they was their time was up.
well, I mean, but
Man,
Right. So
I ask y'all this: do y'all think when WWE bring people over from different companies, whether it's New Japan, TNA, AEW, or if they bring somebody over from a different company, do you all believe it's a reset? Like it's a reset for them? Because you just said
it's definitely a reset.
I
That's a
say
good
more
word to
so.
put it. It's definitely a reset.
I say more so to shake things up. Throw new characters and new storylines.
But they have to be worth something though.
Yeah,
The Motor City
what they
Machine
should.
Guns, you bring them in, you throw them out there, give them the titles, but you already have great potential there. You have the Street Profits, great potential already there. I mean, if you bring another tag team to make it more competitive, I can see that. But you bringing in some guys who literally probably got like another 4 years left. You know, I think they could have did better with maybe some of the young talent that's out there in the world in these different promotions. I think that probably would have did a better job. Because, like I say, when he said when the Motor City Machine Guns popped up, it was no pop. Cats was
no,
like, "Damn, okay, really now?
no, it
If
wasn't no
everybody we
pop.
could bring,
Right.
Side
And
note,
Kev,
of bringing
I
people
really
over.
want to agree.
it was more
I
pop for
really
the
agree
Awesome
with you,
Truth than
Kev,
them."
about
What's that? What?
right. I really agree with you about when you say that there was no pop. On top of that, with the Street Profits, I felt like they ruined their value when they brought the Y6 back and
Yeah,
then had them jump, the Street Profits. And so the Street Profits have always been struggling too to get that push. A lot of people want to say it's because of, racism. That's why MVP and Bobby
Yeah.
Lashley and Shelton Benjamin left for AEW. But the Street Profits, I will say that is the one tag team that the wrestling fans do love and respect, mainly because of Montez. Montez, he's a good look, and people are looking for him to go solo eventually. But I do think, as you said about the Street Profits, they should have a proper push, and they don't have too many years left. So I hope, it's a different subject, but I hope that Montez Ford do break out as a singles competitor and they give
yeah.
him a
Yeah,
push.
Well, but
yeah.
is he undisputed worthy? Is he world heavyweight championship worthy?
I hate to
He's
say this.
definitely he has the persona.
Yeah.
He's if you had to say Jay Uso getting it versus Montez off skill wise, I would have gave it to Montez. And keep it
Off
real,
skill.
I believe
Correct.
Montez.
Yep.
And keep it real, I believe Montez could still get that same pop that Jay get. Um,
Yep.
it's just he have to be he. It seems like he's marketing himself. Even as they try to become heels, they do a good job at that. So I mean, they gotta show these guys something because I know if these guys leave WWE, they're gonna be stars somewhere else. They will be, especially Montez. Montez would do like Ron Killings did when he won the TNA title.
Okay.
Montez will go somewhere and
Mm.
become a title holder easily.
So
Yep.
Yeah, but shit,
Yep.
you gotta be able to work the crowd like them too. You know.
Montez works the crowd,
But
bro.
you
He
but you
works.
brought up something, Kev. You brought up something. Even when you look at Jay Uso um as a champion, they keep sticking him with other people.
Yeah,
So I wonder if they
okay.
don't have faith in the fact that he can run the crowd on his own because they keep putting him with, Cody Rhodes and bringing him back
So
around him.
is his
He
merchandise
should be a
selling?
champion.
hmm
His merchandise sells.
It does.
Absolutely.
Okay.
he's
Okay.
picking up new moves. I see he's probably been listening to the fan base. He has been picking up some new moves now.
So let me ask y'all this. I don't want to get too far off topic. In y'all opinion about black wrestlers and how they're pushed, do you believe they got to work harder
In
I wouldn't.
WWE.
in
I
In
WWE?
wouldn't.
WWE, they have to work harder. in AEW, black people is getting pushed left and right.
Yeah. WWE
Because mhm.
WWE seem like they still have some good old boy tactics. But I think it's not necessarily racism. I think it's almost like they have to build that trust with you, like with Naomi. I think Naomi get a lot of leeway because her trust value with them is so high. They know what she's gonna do. They know it's gonna be done correctly. It's gonna look right. And when you come in there as um, wrestler, not only do you have to have the look, the character, the persona, but it have to be executed on a level that they can trust you. Where if they say you want to know something, we ain't got nothing written out for you, but this is what we think about the storyline, make something happen. Do you think? I don't think they wrote that stuff out for Naomi. I think Naomi put all that together. Her
What I
storyline is going forward.
what I think is like I feel like they kind of give you the platform and then they kind of give you a script, but I feel like it's up to you to like take that and own it and then do something with it. Like, all right, the spotlight on you, what you finna do, you know? So,
when I look at it that way, when I look at it from that question that he brought up, it's like you couldn't push Bobby Lashley, but you pushed uh, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns
Over and
is
over.
on a promos, and so you brought in Paul Heyman to talk for
Right.
Roman Reigns. You could have
yeah,
done the same thing for Bobby Lashley. And then when it comes to, as Kevin brought up, if you look at Montez and Jey Uso, it seems like Montez has more of the it factor than Jey Uso does. WWE would push Samoans, but any wrestling company usually push Samoans, but in WWE, Samoans is really pushed, whereas your black wrestlers, even like somebody like Jade Cargill, how come she's not champion yet? Where's her titles? Where's her solo? And then when you look at somebody like Mark Henry had a good run for a little while.
Yeah.
They gave him the ECW
Okay.
title. Well, why not the World Heavyweight Championship? You know what I mean? He was loyal to the business even when he left the business and he did like his wrestling shoots. He always said good things, but he didn't touch on like the racism part that everybody knows is there when it comes to WWE. That it's you have to look like Bret Hart, you have to look like Shawn Michaels, you have to look like Steve Austin, you have to look like Triple H. Black people are who they are when they're in that ring, as you see in AEW when you look at Strickland. AEW loves him, he's getting pops, but as far as if you was to put him in WWE, he just wouldn't fit.
Just
Okay.
to interject on that, um, Kaden Chance, she's a female wrestler from WWE. She was with the other young lady. There's a tag team, and her interview was live. I watched her interview today, and she spoke about how they had nothing for them, and they kept saying, "Well, we'll do this or we'll do that," and she had to pitch ideas to the team, and some of the ideas stuck. And when the idea stuck, then they execute it. But if you pitch an idea and the idea don't work, they just put you to the side because they have nothing for you. So
that's how
then
they
when you
treat
say
Bailey.
yeah, so when
You
you
say
say
what?
the racism part, it's like I want to agree with you 100% on that, but I also think that it's not 100% racism. I really believe it's almost like a clique thing. Like, so I'm getting along with these guys. These guys are really good. And of course, they push Samoans because remember, they built the history on Samoans as far as wrestling. Hardest heads in the game, real tough
For
SOBs.
sure.
So, it's easy. That lore haven't been untapped yet. That lore is still strong within the wrestling community. And it's just, it's very weird because I just see the talent sitting there and I be like, how come they don't do nothing with this guy? And Montez is pretty young too, though. So he still
So
got he got time.
The
If they
Rock
don't
was
beat him in
young,
like three to
remember?
4 years, then I'm gonna say it's an issue.
But my opinion is, um, I feel like it's a lot of pieces to be moved, but I feel like they kind of focus on the ones that get the crowd going. Because a lot of people could be talented wrestlers, but if they don't connect with the crowd, then it's kind of like, we don't need you out here almost. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like how John Cena was at first when he was finna get fired, because they like, all right, you
Well, but
just
they did,
another.
but they did Roman like that. Roman was trash for 10
Well, I ain't
years.
gonna lie.
Oh,
I ain't
he
gonna
was
lie.
trash.
Roman kind of boring without Paul Heyman right now. Like, think about that. He's kind of. I know he on his downside or whatever, but like right now, you like what's interesting about Roman right now, honestly.
Okay.
Right.
People still chanting for him, but yeah, he's not. He has a limited move set as well. Um,
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
mean,
that
if you
limited
really
move
think
set
about
is
it, you
really
like,
bad.
Okay.
because
Let me ask y'all this. Uh, since we're on the topic right quick, I'm gonna ask y'all a question. I want y'all to say 10 it was fantastic, 1 it was trash. What do you all think of Kofi Kingston's push to get the champion? What do you rate that?
It was trash.
It
So you'll
was
give it
trash.
so you'll give it a
They
1?
played the card. I give it a 2.
You give it a 2?
Yep.
D John, what you give it?
I give it. I'm with Kevin on this. This is
Give it a
definitely a
2?
two.
Kevin, you give it a 2?
Yep, it's a 2.
What do you think about Bobby Leslie push for championship? What do you give that?
Talk about the first time he was with WWE.
No, his most when he, right, pretty much his whole storyline took he lost at the Brock. What do you
Oh,
think of that push?
I get at a 7. And the reason I give it a 7 was because his Brock matches sucked. They should have been so much better. You could tell they wanted him to drop it to Brock, and they was
Okay.
giving him little hints. So I was able to read what they was trying to do. They gave it to him because he signed back with the company and being loyal. Nah, his run up to get the title was a total 7. His
Okay, give it a
keeping the
7.
title, it started to go downhill.
D Jones, what you say?
I'm with again with Kevin. It was a 7, and I'll say they was bouncing him around from heel to face a little bit too much for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Um,
just gonna say they didn't know what to do with him.
yeah,
They
yeah,
don't do it. Okay.
yeah.
My bad,
So
DJ, I didn't interrupt.
They could have gave him Paul Heyman, but okay.
Really, they could have. They definitely could have.
Mhm.
so what do
Or
you now go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, shoes. You don't even need Paul Heyman, perhaps, man. Maybe somebody like
They could have gave him
who plays
MVP.
the role similar to Paul Heyman, but maybe
MVP.
they should do something for him, like give him like an anti-Paul Heyman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They did the
so
right
Mhm.
thing for him, brother.
Rocky,
They did,
quiet.
but they got
Quiet, Rocky.
scared because if the Hurt Business would have stayed around, the Bloodline wouldn't have been as successful. The Judgment Day wouldn't have been successful because the Hurt Business was really that faction. They were
Yup.
certified. They wasn't goofy. They wasn't silly. They ain't do no comical sketches. They got in
Okay.
there and hurt people.
So
Yup.
what do we rate Big E running champion? I give that
mm,
I felt like when Big E was running for champion, and we're getting off topic, right? But when Big E was running for champion, I felt like they didn't really give him his solo run because he was still with the New Day. If you're gonna give a man a solo run, take him away from the tag team. Stop having him come out all the time. That's not a solo run. I give it a 4.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
With
just
Big
gonna
E,
say it.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give Big E's run probably like between a 5.5, and a 6, just because Big E was showing us he could be dominant, even though he still came out with the group or whatever. He had some sparks of life. Him being dominant, I like the comical stuff. I wasn't feeling, but him being dominant and marketable because the crowd loved him still. So I
Okay.
mean, I give him a 5.5.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, Kelvin, what will you give it this run?
Mm, I was gonna say a 6, but Kev was like 5.5. I'm like, oh, hey, just cold blooded with it, bro. It
What about
wasn't a
you, D.
bad
John?
run though.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna say it didn't even move the scale for me at all.
It ain't move the scale.
Man, that's
I
hard.
just
Mm,
nah. No,
Yeah, it was
at all.
just
I just didn't like it. I felt like,
They had
I
nothing
don't
else
want
at
to
the
get
time.
too
it
personal.
didn't bring anything
Yeah,
new.
I don't want to get too personal, right? I mean, they had him playing for the other team,
Yeah,
him kissing
yeah.
dudes and stuff, and I just wasn't down with that.
Okay, well,
They had him too many sunflowers and I don't want to say the other word, but
Right.
it
He
was
was
You
the
too
know
much.
bag of
what?
It was
Skittles.
it
You
was
know what
it
I
was
mean?
too for somebody that dominant.
Yeah.
He was too freaking friendly. I just say it like that.
No, too friendly. Yeah.
Mm.
okay. So, all right. Good conversation. So, before we get into the next area, right? Tag team, the finishers. This shit got announced today. What do you all think of WrestleMania going back to Vegas? I don't remember the last time they went back to back with WrestleMania, but
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on that? I mean, it's for a money grab, but I was looking
It's
forward
definitely
to.
that.
Yeah, I was really
I
looking
hate it.
forward to New Orleans. I was looking forward to the culture,
Yeah,
the
Hmm.
food. I would actually
yeah,
rather
and
spend
just
more
how,
time in New Orleans versus wrestling. But what's your thoughts on that?
yeah,
And I hate to say this, but now it's going to become a racial issue. New Orleans would it have been too
Quiet, Rocky.
affordable for black people, or what's going on that you kept it in Vegas? I felt like if you went to New Orleans, your tickets would have, been a little bit affordable. I mean, they're the only ones that control that price, but I think a lot of black people would have bought them tickets. Would have had it would have been good for New Orleans, because you're talking about wrestling and you're talking about the food and Bourbon Street. I think they would have profited well, but I don't know what could have made that change, except you want to charge $2,000 or $3,000 more just to go back to WrestleMania. That's why I was asking Kevin earlier, what happened that they wasn't making any money. I mean, according to what they were saying, they were selling out tickets, everything was great, so far. But what happened that you have to now go back and make that money up in Vegas? Is it a racial issue that you don't want it in New Orleans?
From the rumors and just saying this, what I heard was completely rumors. Um, doing so, I guess in big business, if you're big enough, you can make a purchase, acquisition of another company without having full monetary value of it. And when you do that, you take on their debt.
Yeah.
And when TKO made that purchase, in their minds, they thought they were going to recoup quicker than what they were. It's not that they lost money; they just didn't recoup the amount that they need to recoup. And they notice when they go to certain cities, they make more than other cities. So I don't think it was much of a racial thing. It was more of a desirable place. So um, Las Vegas. A lot of people desire to go to Las Vegas. Even when speaking to people today, I'm shocked how many people never been to Vegas and they love to go to Vegas. Um, New Orleans. People like going to New Orleans too, but the cost of living and stuff in New Orleans is cheaper than Vegas. So they could go down there and they could charge what they want to charge in New Orleans, but it have to make sense. They can never go down there and charge Vegas prices in New Orleans. So they realized that. They looked at the stadiums. The Reliance Stadium holds so many guests versus the stadium in New Orleans that don't hold as many as that. And it's so many things that play into it. It's very sad because being a fan, I look forward to traveling to different cities and
Yeah.
in a process of traveling, never going to a city I never been to and learning about that city, taking in some of the sites, seeing what their culture is. That was one of it's kind of like you knock two birds out of one stone,
Yeah, for sure.
especially if
Cause
your
I
significant
agree.
other.
I
Yeah, if your
agree, man.
significant
Cause
other never been to New Orleans and she says she
No,
want to go now, you could take her out there, see WrestleMania, have a good time with her. You
absolutely.
know, and that was one of the highlights for me about traveling to these different WrestleManias.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
price
cause
really
I,
didn't bother me as much.
I,
But now it's like we gotta go back to Vegas. Will we go to Vegas? Yeah, we probably do because we are fans and for the content. But do it make sense, especially if it's more expensive than what we just paid to be in Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not feeling it, and be honest, because one, it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like the fans who probably went this year, they're probably gonna be like not gonna be as interested as they was, you know, like, dang, we gotta go back to this place. It's kind of like the same feel. It's kind of like having the Super Bowl in the same
Right.
city 2 years back
Oh,
to back.
wait, let me add one
Or
more thing in. It was an interview that was held. I was listening to where the lady, she is from Mississippi, and she said that her brother was a big fan of wrestling. And she's a big fan. They was looking forward to driving up to New Orleans for their first WrestleMania. So you have to think about a lot of people that because you don't hear about WrestleMania going to Mississippi. So you got to think about
Nah.
them people in the town close that could drive 2 hours away to see it and willing to pay the money, but you just took
yeah,
that away from them.
Yeah, cause
yeah, I'm be honest. Go ahead, Ken.
no, you go ahead. You go ahead. You go
Now
ahead.
I was gonna say because when we went to Philly, I feel like the vibe and the presence of WWE was much stronger in Philly than it was in Vegas. It was like, yeah, we went to the convention, but like in Philly, every single place that we went, you could tell everybody was excited for wrestling. Well, whether we
Yeah,
went to the small corner stores, convenience stores, or places to get like a Philly cheesesteak, or anywhere we
Oh
walked,
yeah.
it was like everywhere. You felt the presence throughout the entire city, no matter where we went. Vegas, it was kind of like, look, it was spotty here and there, like to the point where it didn't even seem like anybody even knew or even cared that WrestleMania was even going on. Maybe because it was Vegas, and Vegas always got events going on, kind of like a
remember, remember,
residency or whatever.
Philly is a wrestling town though. That's home of
Yeah.
I
ECW.
know.
I was just about to say
I'm
that
just
Philly is a wrestling city for
Yeah,
sure.
but you see how the vibes was different there. It was a huge difference.
Yeah, D Jones was.
So Ken, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I got a
What's up?
question for you. So Ken, here's one for you. So do you think that on the road to WrestleMania that you may see a few fans try to hijack the show about WrestleMania going back to Vegas? Would there be any
I think it's
petitions or
gonna.
protests about that?
Oh,
It's gonna be talking points like how we're talking about it. They just. I will start with this. The way that they even announced it at Money in the Bank, it was like we're back in Vegas next year, and they showed Allegiant Stadium. We're back in Vegas next year. That's it.
it's
It's the
crazy.
way they even presented it. It wasn't even it. What they should have gave a press conference. This is what happened. This is why we going back. But we know why we going back. The way they even presented it to us was wrong. I think when something is being announced or presented, that's important too because you got to think about it as well. After experiencing Vegas, I'm not buying my tickets when the pre-sale happens this time. I'm not buying my tickets when they go on
Not
sale
at
for the
all.
public. I'm gonna wait maybe a month out, like see if they catch them for the low, because it's like what can I expect from this city differently? Nothing. The same thing. It's like the only thing different is the Airbnb I'm going to stay in. But I think they're going to people are going to talk about this. I'm not going to say they're going to protest, but I will say that they may not sell out as fast. Now remember, Allegiant Stadium last year or this year WrestleMania 41, they said they made the most money ever for
Yeah,
ticket sales, but they didn't sell the most tickets in a short amount of time. They made the most money. That means tickets prices were so high, it was offsetting the a quantity of tickets versus the cost of tickets. So I think what's going to happen is this. I think a lot of fans will probably not go, but they're still going to sell out. Now, if they still charging them high prices, that's a damn shame. Because I've been doing a lot of research. They've been doing two PLEs a month in the last 2 months. Two PLEs. And if they
three
not
now.
been, three PLEs?
Three now. Yeah,
So they're hungry for money. Now they are doing more smaller shows in between, like town shows, house shows. You've seen a lot of that. But PLEs, come on now, we grew up on one pay-per-view a month. one pay-per-view a month. That's what we grew up on. I think this is what I think needs to happen. I think people need to go out and rally, create a hashtag. We don't want Vegas. No Vegas WrestleMania, whatever it is. And we need to push that. Just like how they had the Cody turnover when The Rock came in and tried to turn things around, and they had the Cody chant and they switched up the storyline. I think that's what needs to happen. Because if it's about money, and the content get diluted, that's gonna really turn me off. That's gonna really.
I really don't
So
think
this
they
is
go
where.
sell
So this is where
fast
I'm
or
at.
next year.
This is where I'm at. So the fact that you go back to Vegas and all of you guys are saying that it may not sell out as fast means you take what you can get from New Orleans. That's why I'm kind of opening up the door of saying, man, it's got to be some type of racial aspect to it. Because even when you look at, a team like the New Orleans Saints, there's a good mixture of white, but mostly a black crowd in there because they're a fan. Even though it's a different sport, but everybody loves wrestling. So if you brought it to New Orleans, you're talking about food, you're talking about culture, you're talking about a gang of black people supporting your business. I just think they don't like the fact that they'll have to sell those tickets less than what they will have to in Vegas. So I think it's something there. I just really feel like they just probably just didn't want us opening. I feel like WWE didn't want the floodgates opening to black people, even though they're going to be, Caucasian people that's going to buy those most expensive tickets. But your sellers is definitely going to be black because it's in New Orleans. It's a culture there.
But see,
New Orleans love their sports and wrestling as well.
But Triple H said right after WrestleMania 40, it's about a bid. It's a bid for money. Some people may just say Vegas threw money at it, and that's what happened. Vegas threw money at it. They got it.
Vince would have did it. Vince would have been like, on to New Orleans.
No, you're right.
I guarantee it.
I 100%. Vince would have been like, on to New Orleans. You're right.
Yep, Vince would have been definitely on to New Orleans. You're right about that.
So he would have been on that 100%. So look, they better have a hell of a show if we going back to Vegas. They better not get.
Hey, that's the point. That's the point. I like what you said. They better have a great show. They better have The Rock there. Something got to give. Something with Cody or Cena or something.
Travis Scott.
Especially the way this year just
no Travis Scott. No Travis Scott.
The way this one just ended, like with Travis Scott, I ain't gonna lie, that last match wasn't even worth talking about. Do you know? Well, y'all know. Last year with Cody and Roman or whatever, people who wasn't even watching wrestling was like, wait, what just happened? We need to tune in, like right now. What's going on? Like, people ain't watched wrestling in years tuned into that WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. This one, wasn't nobody excited for it.
No.
Yeah, it was John Cena's last one. Wasn't nobody excited for it.
All they needed was two fixes. That's all they had to do to make the fans satisfied. You should have went back to Thugonomics.
Yep.
Simple. Yep. And The Rock should have came out. I would have been satisfied. But
I think that's why they probably going to end up going back to Vegas to probably. Well, I'm gonna say that's another reason why they probably may go back to Vegas just to try to make up for what was missing. Of course, you have to understand that The Rock is a powerful man. He's going to have his 2 cents. You have to work around The Rock's schedule, So. Have it back in Vegas. The final boss will come out and give the people what they want, and then. But how will it be done? Is the question. Will it make sense? Should The Rock show up at Vegas?
Yeah, it's crazy how one man could swing the whole wrestling industry when it comes to viewership. Because they just reported their lowest viewership for Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
Be honest, because
But you gotta
like I
remember,
said, nothing interesting is happening. Matter of fact, the most interesting thing that happened in recent wrestling was our truth coming out with John Cena fit. Like, I mean, in his like that was cold,
Agreed.
and just
Agreed.
everything else, like everything he been doing that led up to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I look up to this man, and he
they're
coming
not
up to
giving
Randy
up.
Orton like, you ain't gonna be my childhood hero. You know what I'm saying? It was just those little things that kept it like funny, and it's like, yo, he being serious over here, but then our truth over here interrupting like interviews and stuff like that. Stuff kept it interesting. But now it's like our truth gone. Now it's like, I guarantee you have not sat down and watched a full wrestling match straight through without being like, yeah, let me go get something to drink, because it ain't. I mean,
They're
I'm
not
gonna
living up to
just
their
say as
quota.
far as the guy size,
They're
So
not living up
it's
to their
sad to
quota.
say, but AEW's been looking a whole lot better,
Yes,
especially the
they have.
run that
yeah.
Tony Storm has been on. Tony Storm has really
hmm
been a
I
highlight
was just gonna
of
say that.
AEW.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think we spoke about that a week or two ago. Tony Storm is killing it at AEW.
She
He
killing
is
it.
murdering it. He just,
Mm-hmm.
but
Man.
WWE Netflix venture. The reason it's falling over because they promised us they was gonna go back to Attitude Era
Attitude
type.
era. Uh-huh.
It was gonna be more
100%.
uncensored, and they censored it. They PG 13'd it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not as good. It's like the booking is not good. I do not want to see the War Raiders wrestle Judgment Day again. I don't
No.
want to see all these
Mm.
rerun
Oh,
matches.
Kevin, what you saying is so about the War Raiders. That's another tag team that's not really getting any pop.
And they can
Yeah,
That
wrestle.
is,
Nah.
oh
they're
my
very tough.
They
God.
can
But
wrestle.
the booking is horrible. The booking is
Yeah.
horrible. They have these guys wrestling the same people every week. And I mean, no matter how good they are, if you watch them wrestle 3 times back to back, you like, I don't want to see this no more. They wrestling the same thing. We know what's gonna happen. We
Yeah.
know
Yep.
what
Also, side
moves.
note, they
We
need
know
to
they
fix that
spot.
Peacock situation, man, because like people can't really tune in to SmackDown like that unless they actually watching it live.
You know, I hate.
Oh,
I
so I
hate.
back
Yeah.
down on Peacock.
Yeah,
SmackDown.
no, because
Look,
No.
on Peacock it is 2 months behind. Like
well,
unless you're watching it live, you cannot watch it the next
well, you can
day.
watch it on Hulu.
Wait. What?
I think you can watch it on Hulu. SmackDown.
Hold on. Wait. On Peacock, the reoccurring episode, not reoccurring, but the weekly episodic episodes are 2 months behind.
Yeah, they're about a month behind.
Jesus Lord.
Nah,
Well, that's because there's so many contracts in place. So you're not going to get the recent. You get all the PLEs quick, but you don't get any of the recent SmackDowns or Raws because Raw is tied to Netflix. So you're not going to get that. And SmackDown is tied to, is that USA
SmackDown
or is it?
tied to, yeah. No, it's USA.
Yeah. So yeah, you're not going to get those right away unless you got like Hulu or something.
Okay.
So it's just that's because there's so many WWE contracts out there that they can't bounce everything around. So Peacock is mainly for your PLEs and anything you want to go back history wise and watch.
Okay, man. We have some good conversations. I think D Jones.
bring our truth back.
Yeah, I think you're still muted, D Jones. So all right, let's get back onto the tag team. So the next area we're gonna talk about is tag team finishers. What's your top 5 tag team finishers? Who
The
your top
Young
five?
Guns Future Shock. The Young Guns Future Shock is dope as hell. Dope as hell. Hands down, that is cold. Um, Penta, not Penta. I'm sorry. Um, my next tag team that had a good finisher. You got to go with the Legion of Doom, Doomsday Device.
Oh yeah.
It's always imitated, always imitated, never duplicated.
Okay.
The
Yep.
Dudley Boys 3D.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry. That 3D was just
the
cold.
3D.
That's in my
Hey,
top one.
some people sold it very
Yeah.
well. I really was digging that. All right, yeah. If you want to go over there, I remember the Hardy Boys. And I'm gonna keep it real. The Usos stole it from the Hardy Boys, but the Hardy Boys started the corner to corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their thing. That was dope. That was, oh damn, that was really good. Now that I think about it when they was young. That was back when they wasn't winning matches, but that was dope.
Mhm.
I was watching Triple H today, and Octagon Jr. and his partner, they got a fall away off the top rope fall away slam. Dope as hell. Never seen it before. Never seen it before. And then there's one more I had. I wrote it down. It was one more. I was like, I didn't want to forget it. It's all right. So in the gun, not the gun club, the Bullet Club, there was Gorillas of we know them as Tamatanga and Tamaloa. They had a dope ass finishing move back in New Japan, but I can't think of the name. I wrote it down, but I don't know what the hell I did with the paper. I wrote it on my list. Look, they had a dope ass finishing move.
Okay, you named some good ones, man.
No,
Yeah,
man,
I had a
Kevin
list.
got a whole novel.
He went off on that one.
Yeah, that was some good. That was a good top
Man,
five.
he already named a couple of mine. Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, just like I don't know.
Remember
That
the Hardy
was
Boys had
just
a
fire,
couple though.
bro.
Remember the Hardy Boys had a couple. They had the Twist of Fate into the
Yeah.
Swanton.
Oh
Then
yeah,
they had
that's
the
on my
Swanton
list.
Corner.
Yeah.
That's on my
And then
list.
they had the Twist of
That's
Fate
Swanton Bomb,
into the
but
guillotine leg drop. They had a
Yeah,
couple.
that's on
any
my
Hardy
list
Boys
too.
you
bro.
mentioned the Swanton Bomb to anybody that's over 30, bro. They go instantly know.
Hell
They go
yeah.
instantly
Yeah,
know.
they
Wait,
definitely. Yup.
you see they
Yeah,
protege changed the Swanton up. They got a protege
yeah,
over in is the TNA they in? But he does a swanton and turns it into a 450. It freaking looks unreal, and he executes it. He wrestles with the Hardy Boys too.
Oh man. What about y'all? Looks like some top
yeah.
five
So
finishes
for
y'all
me,
got.
for me, it's the same.
It's the same.
It's
Yeah.
definitely the Hardy Boys,
It's kind of
the
hard
Dudleys,
to
Doomsday. Yeah,
Okay.
you can't argue those.
now. Yeah. Now, if you be like, all right, what is y'all top 5 finishers in WWE history? All right, now you done kick down the doors to something crazy right
Top
there.
five finishes.
You
Oh
gotta say
man.
top five finishes in wrestling period, because
Yeah,
there's some people in WWE they finishes don't even compete with other people in other places. I just seen some
sure.
wild finishers watching wrestling over just watching wrestling on YouTube and different
Right.
promotions. And man, it's some cats who got some. They got some heat, bro. I put it like this:
Yeah, they do.
everybody in NXT before it got soft. When NXT first started, everybody's finisher was hardcore in that.
Dude, it
Then that shit
was.
got watered down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you get on the main production, they got to be safe because some people be trying to do too much to risk their life. But
That's
I think,
true.
Yeah.
do y'all remember? I don't know. I'm gonna throw this in there because I agree with all the finishers y'all talking about. But the tag team finisher, I don't know if it was a tag team finisher, but I love when the Dudley Boys used to put Mae Young to the table off the top rope. That shit was nuts.
Yup.
That
That
was
shit
Right. With
was
the
wild.
dazed look, with the
yeah.
With the
dazed
days
look in his
yeah.
eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, the
I
best
mean, but
days.
that just goes to show how great the Dudleys really was. I mean, because
Man.
Bubba and Devon, they put that work in. I mean, I really
Yeah.
think they changed the tag team division.
Like,
They
who
did,
else I got
man.
on here? I
I
got
was a shorty and I was like, why is they doing this to people? Why won't nobody stop these guys, bro? They is too
Yeah,
dangerous.
like you got
they
the
were animals, man.
yeah. It's a few finishers out there. Like you got the heart. I think somebody else said it, but the heat seeker, the flapjack and the sidekick combo. You got the Steiner Bulldog rope Bulldog off electric chair effect. I don't know if that's the
Yeah.
real name.
Yeah, it was called it was the Steiner son, but they'll pick you up and your boy Rick Steiner jump off the rope and put you on a bulldog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
that shit was nuts.
And he never
But
missed. He
Scott
never
Steiner
missed.
when he did it, Scott Steiner used to throw your legs like that and make you
Yeah,
flip.
hell man, they do that
Yup.
in no, they do that in No Mercy. That move was nuts. So,
Yeah.
man, you said top five finishers of all time. I mean, but what are we basing that off of? What like the effects of
I
it?
mean, it's that's.
Cause you gotta
Go
think
ahead.
about it. Are we basing it off of how many times people kicked out? how many times, what's the crowd reaction to it? How bad do it look as far as devastation? Because to sidetrack a little bit, ain't nobody kicked out of the 3D for years until later
It was
on.
protected.
It
Yeah,
was a very protected move.
I agree.
It's protected.
So,
And the crowd always popped.
yeah,
Yeah.
always.
You know what I mean? When they did the 3D.
But you
So
know,
that's why the. Mhm.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was done.
You know, the 3D had the RKO effect because it could happen
Yes.
almost anywhere and any time.
Oh yeah.
Like serious, because he didn't have to get on the top ropes to do it. They're like if they having an all out in the ring brawl and Devon having to throw somebody on the ropes, once Devon grab him, Bubba come out of nowhere. So you know, people used to always sit back and be just waiting to see like how the hell they gonna do this today, and it get a pop. Even when they did when they used to do Spike Dudley, I used to think they damn near killed them. That used to be so
They
When they used to put people through like 3 tables, I'd be like, bruh, come on, man. This ain't even legal, bro.
He had to have back insurance. Like, all right. We had some good conversation here. I think what's the last part we talking about the interest part, but that was a good.
I can't wait for this one. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys say.
So
the entrance.
Yeah, I would
get the be all end all of wrestling. Entrance.
So what is like your top finisher? Like, what do you think is like the crazy? When I think about something that looks crazy, I think about Samoa Joe finisher before they changed it. What is that Bronco?
Oh, the muscle buster.
Muscle buster.
Yeah, the muscle buster.
That was dangerous.
That shit was dangerous as hell.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wild.
The one winged angel dangerous too though.
The one winged angel was dangerous.
Yeah.
White noise is dangerous. White noise is dangerous.
White noise is definitely dangerous. Even though I feel like what else? What are some crazy I mean, so which one is better?
No, what was the Japanese? What was the Japanese? Who was that Japanese wrestler? Remember in the cruiserweight division?
I know you
back in the early '90s.
Yeah, Mr. Noku driver.
His finisher was nuts.
Wait,
I used to love that move.
The Michinoku driver.
I didn't look that up.
That's when he picked you up like a body slam, but he jumped down and cuffed your head like under the it's weird, but it looks like it's devastating.
He never missed.
It leaves you folded up pretty bad.
And look, that tombstone was pretty dangerous too, man.
What about the Unprettier though?
The
Unprettier.
Let me tell you something. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of the Unprettier, but I'm gonna tell you why I am a fan of Alexa Bliss and her sister Abigail. Her sister Abigail looks so hard, bro.
Oh, you like that? Yeah. I used to love the Unprettier.
I used to like it when Christian did it, but then when the women started doing it, they don't do it as good because Christian used to have you close to his back and do it.
He sure did.
Dude, that movie is nasty.
And remember, if you go back, Christian was the first one when he did the Unprettier. He used to actually pick you up, him and Shane Helms, and have your feet on the ground. But then they labeled it too dangerous, so he'll have your feet stay on the ground, but put your head still close to his back and drop down.
Yeah.
But now I see the women do it, and it don't look like it's being done correctly, and I'd be upset.
So, what do you all rate Logan Paul's finisher? I think it's fire.
That's A1. That's king. That boy was in the gym. He was in the gym. He said he was gonna do something different. That's the thing.
Definitely A1. Definitely A1.
Ain't nobody did nothing like that.
That finisher cold.
I agree.
Hey, I think he took the ratings up for that segment because when we seen that finisher, I think Ken, I think you called me like,
hey,
did
called you? I was like, dude, you see that finisher? I was like, that shit cold.
That shit was hard.
That finisher was nasty. Oh man, where we at? We at about 55 minutes. All right. I hope y'all got something. What do y'all think is some of the top tag team entrances or faction entrances? It can be faction, like groups of 3, groups of 4. Who y'all got?
So for me, I'm gonna go Evolution. Because Evolution with Motorhead, Oh my God, I still
Too bad
play
they
that
didn't take.
track when I'm at
Too
the
bad they
gym.
didn't take Sean Stasiak intro.
Yeah, I loved Evolution intro. Of course, Degeneration X. I'm gonna go to Heart Foundation, the $1 Million Corporation,
Yeah.
Okay.
and my honorable mentions is going to be NWO and the Bloodline.
Woo! You got a
Ooh.
hard list.
Hey.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
So
I
Okay.
was gonna
So
say
I'm gonna say it like
Bloodline,
this there.
NWO, and definitely, I gotta go with
Everything you
Degeneration
said,
Yeah,
X.
everything D said, I totally agree. So everything I'm gonna say now
yeah,
has to be an honorable
Yeah,
mention because he hit
yeah.
everything across the head. So I'm gonna say
yeah.
Salute, brother.
Paul London when he was
Okay.
with the tag team when they used to run out and slide
I
through the
mean, cause
ring.
he is.
I thought that was dope. Now I'm gonna take y'all back to underrated faction. X Factor used to have a dope intro
I
with a
remember
dope
Bro,
ass
that.
X
song for
Factor
Uncle
was
Cracker.
so
yeah.
cold. That's
Yeah,
why.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
yeah. Good,
All
Bruh.
right.
good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, that was dope. And then I'm really about to get y'all. The Bullet Club had a dope interest.
Oh, that's
Yep.
you talking
Mm.
They
about
had a
New
very dope
Japan
interest.
Ring of Honor?
Yep. And then my last honorable mention, the Hurt Syndicate. That interest is so hard in
The intro.
AEW.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
interest
West
hard as
Side
hell.
Gun, Griselda.
Yes.
Griselda is behind that. Yeah, West
I
Side
gotta
Gun and
check
That
that one
Griselda.
interest
out.
hard.
Yeah.
I
It's
got
been
one
a
more for
while.
you, and I'm just curious. What do you all think about the beautiful people in TNA? Did you like their
What
entrance?
that was the best interest in TNA.
I ain't see
Yeah,
that yet. I gotta
yeah,
That was
look.
the
I
best
ain't neither. Hold on.
when it was
yeah.
all three of them. When it was all that was the best
Yep.
interest in
When
TNA.
there's all three of them. Uh huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh huh.
Me, my top. I'm gonna say my top four. Um, I'm gonna start with the younger me. Um, I'm gonna say NWO. That I think that was
Hmm.
fantastic. I'm gonna say the older me.
Domination Nation. Nah.
No,
Domination.
Yeah.
no,
Right.
no.
Nation of
Right.
domination.
Right.
I'm
Right.
gonna say
Right.
it's a mixture. It's a mixture of both because one transition into the next, right? I'm gonna say the Ministry of Darkness / the corporate ministry. That shit was
Yeah.
all that, and it wasn't about the interest; it was about their aura, like what they came
Yeah.
Yeah.
in. The bloodline, of course, and I'm gonna say evolution. Add them
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Y'all done
Okay,
stole my answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. Wow.
Evolution
No
got to be number
Degeneration
one.
X.
you said what?
Yeah.
No
Evol-
Degeneration X.
No, too flashy for me. Too flashy.
Yeah,
Too
I
flashy.
like them, man. They was
Cause I
them
think about
That Rage Against the Machine was hitting though. I'm sorry. When they first
it
came, that shit was
was
hot.
yeah.
That was hot.
Man, it was so hot. You
Yeah.
better talk to him, Kev.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
think
That was
I think
I'm sorry. That interest, you know how good that interest is? You notice how many events we was at Ken and they play that music still to the day at WWE and they do the X cam and they go
yeah.
around
Hmm.
and we gotta do the
Yep.
yeah, that is they know it's a hit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's how it is.
Who you got? Who you got?
Shit, they ain't all mine.
Yeah.
WOD generation bloodline. I'm like, damn, I don't know what to say now.
Yeah. The
Be quiet. I don't
bloodline.
wanna.
Yeah.
What do we got like a few minutes left here. What do you think? What faction or tag team or group? What which one do you think would dominate more in a different era? You think the bloodline would dominate more in the '90s? You think NWO would
Bloodline
dominate
would have
it?
killed in the 90s. In
The
the
Heart
late 80s,
Foundation.
early
I'll
90s.
I'll go to Heart Foundation
Hard
You said the
Foundation.
high faction.
We could have had a
Mm,
bloodline and Hard Foundation back in the day. But
yeah,
Ming would have been tearing motherfuckers off for
because
real.
that would
you
have been
talking
fun.
about Owen Hart, you talking about Bret Hart,
Right.
Bulldog, Jim Neidhart, and then you talking about Brian Pillman.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Ooh.
those guys would wax the bloodline, everybody. To me, now the second to that would be Evolution because now you got Hunter, you got Randy Orton, Batista, Ric Flair when he was still good. And I think they will wipe out some of these factions. And then last, if you're talking about OG D-Generation X, you got 90s Hunter, and you still kind of got Prime Shawn Michaels along with China, who will do kind of like they do some of the dirty work for him.
Yeah.
So, man, that's interesting how the way you put that. That's very, very interesting the way you put that. You know, I think about you think the Bloodline would have dominated over DX or NWO? Well, nah, I don't know about NWO.
They wouldn't let the Bloodline dominate over DX.
Nah, they wouldn't let them.
Sure would.
DX. Nah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nah.
Nope.
I think just based on merchandise sale, they wouldn't let them touch him.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nah, they wouldn't.
Nope.
They definitely would not let them touch him.
Absolutely.
All right. I guess I got one last question for y'all. We're gonna wrap it up here. What's happening at SummerSlam? What's gonna be the big surprise? That's that's like the big show of the summer. What's happening?
You guys didn't watch Money in the Bank, so I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
Wait,
You know what?
I
It sounds like that's something's cooking. So I can't wait to watch Money in the Bank then.
Okay.
Oh, but my guess is probably going to end up being, without watching Money in the Bank. I'm gonna say that my bold prediction. I'm gonna make it bold. John Cena loses the title.
You saying? You said he loses? He loses the title at SummerSlam.
I say he loses the title to SummerSlam.
I think it's about to cook. Look, don't say nope. No more talk. No more talk. Right now. Just stop talking.
Okay.
Oh my
Stop
God.
talking.
Okay.
Watch Money in the Bank.
He didn't see
Matter of fact, don't talk about John Cena. Don't talk about John Cena. Damn, we can't talk about nothing because you got to watch Money in the Bank because it's some tails in there. It's some tails.
Oh my God. He over here spoiling. You should have gave your prediction and left it alone. Shit.
No. When he said that, I was like, mother fluffer. That's why I asked you. That's why I asked before we started. Like, did y'all watch Money in the Bank before we had this conversation?
He just saw them highlights, man. He just saw. He's like,
I can't wait to see it.
I see it on his eyeballs. He looking dead at it.
He said, "I see his eyeballs."
Yeah, can't rewatch it. I see your screen flashing.
I watched the Triple H event today.
You see the screens.
I watched the Triple H event, and then I went straight into Money in the Bank. So I watched it all, and right when we started, we was on the last match, and I was just like mother, and that's why I just had to stop it. When we was talking, when you rewatched this, you're gonna see my eyes steady going up like,
oh, shit.
And I'm trying to hold the emotion in, like what? But yeah.
So here's a question for you.
What's up?
Do we come back for a Money in the Bank review?
Reaction.
Absolutely.
Because reactions. I would say reactions. Because I want to hear more what the crew got to say, especially Kev. See what he got to say.
Reactions and predictions.
Yeah, if y'all free tomorrow, if y'all free tomorrow night, yeah, I know Kelvin over here, he got that dad yawn, so.
Man, hey, look, I worked 19 hours the other day. It was critical.
If we come back tomorrow, guys, let's come back. Want to do it about 9:30 again?
Nah, I mean it's Sunday. What y'all want to do? Let me know.
I don't get out of work till 8:00.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you do it, I get in the chats and I just be chatting from work with y'all in the comments.
Hey, but that'll be my commentary.
I mean, what y'all want to do? Y'all want to swing back and do a Money in the Bank review?
Or reactions?
We'll keep it a half hour, not an hour.
Yeah, we could do a half hour.
Works for me.
A half hour? Okay. So we'll do what time? 8:30? 8?
No, Kev said he don't get off.
Yeah. Kev said he don't get off. If we could do it at 9. If we could do it at 9, that'd be great.
So we'll do it at 9, half hour only. I'll make the notes. So all right, y'all.
Okay.
It's 10:28. CST time, whatever it is. I appreciate y'all coming out. Kevin, Kelvin, D Jones. Let's go watch Money in the Bank, and we're gonna recap tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll see y'all later.
Let's go.